Guys, it is Momentum Friday. I hope everybody out there has created a great week for yourself. Business, personal, you're in charge of it. The purpose of these Momentum Fridays is a lot of times we make it to the weekends. And as entrepreneurs, you find yourself in a position where you're like, damn, I'm stoked. It's the weekend. I can't wait to just get the hell out of here. And a lot of times, what that does for your trajectory of where you want to go is it falls flat, right? So, going into the weekend, it's important that you take with you, right, the important things that you need to be doing in your day to day. And one of the things that I thought about, I had a great conversation with one of the business owners that I mentor, and the conversation was around, you know, something that wasn't going the way that they wanted it to go. Which, if you're a business owner, you know very well that is the name of the game. Things are not going to always happen the way that you expect it to. That's just a part of business. But what you can do is prepare yourself for the week ahead. And just also, again, like, you don't play football not thinking or starting to complain because you're getting tackled, right? That's a part of the game. You don't cry because you're tackled if you're playing football. You expect it, right? In business, you expect things are going to happen that you don't either anticipate, that you don't want, and things that overall sometimes can be crushing. But the bottom line here at the end of the day is that you are in charge of prepping yourself. And what does that mean? Prepping mentally, prepping physically. As business owners, we have so much that happens. And the one thing that we are in charge of is getting ourselves set up for success each week, in and out, week after week. But during my session that I had with one of the business owners that I'm mentoring, we came up to a position where this person had stuff going on that was not ideal for their business. I'll leave it at that, right? It was not ideal for the business. But the one thing that I've seen, and again, I am no wizard, I don't know everything about everything, definitely do not. But the one thing that I will say, at least in the 15 years that I've been in business and worked with very successful people, worked with startups, with a lot of different companies, is that life and things that are in business do not happen to you. Okay. They happen for you. So let's unpack that, right? What does that mean? Things happen for me, right? What that means is that when you're in the situation, when you're in the trenches, yes, it's going to look and feel shitty. But where do you get wisdom from? Wisdom comes from experience. Knowledge is learned, right? But wisdom comes from experience. So when you go through some really tough times, that's like a Harvard education. And I know it's not always easy. It's very difficult to see the silver lining when you're going through the valley. But in this Momentum Friday, what I want to share with everybody is that in business, as long as you understand that we're on this planet, life is designed, business is designed to give you constant challenges. It is not set up for anything to be easy. And most people get so upset when stuff is not working the way they want it to work in business and in life. But for this example here, we're talking about business. So when things are not happening the way you anticipated for in business, the way that I want you to be thinking about it in this Momentum Friday, or I challenge you, right? I'll use that as a better example. I challenge you to think about it is that, okay, this is happening, right? But it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. And when you start to change the way you think, right? Because life through our own lenses is our perspective and what we see and what we think of the world and the situations that we're going through and the people that we're going through it with. So if you have this optimistic look, even during challenges, of, I don't know why this is fucking happening right now, but this is happening. And there's something for me to learn from this so that I don't go back and do this again, or this doesn't happen to me again. You're going to be a lot better off than you were in that moment in the future. And that's the goal, right? For people out there who are watching this that have children or have, siblings who are younger, right? Or family that are younger that they care about, you know, any fool can learn from their own mistakes. It takes a wise person to learn from other people's, right? So what you're sharing and what you go through, right? Yes, learn from other people. But at the end of the day, go through your experiences knowing that I'm going to be better off without it. And this just came into me today for this Momentum Friday because of that conversation that I had with one of my mentees. And it's so damaging when you're going through a tough time in business or in life or whatever the case is. And you look at that situation and you say, why me? Poor me. Of course, this would happen to me. And you have that toxic thought that life just has a way of happening to you and hurting you. And if you think back at some of the most difficult times that you've had in business or life, I'm almost positive that from those experiences, you were in a better place now than you once were. And when you were in that place, you thought, there's no way I'm getting out of this, or I can't see past this. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the one thing I want to share, guys, is in most cases, you do get past it. It does get old, right? And you do not even think about it, right? And there was something that I learned. I'm going to give Ryan Serhant a big shout out for this one. He was my keynote speaker back in 2019. He shared something super valuable to me. He said, when you are going through a tough time and you're having a really bad day or a really bad week, mark that in your calendar, that specific day. And I want you to 30 days later go back to that calendar and write in that calendar the details of what you're feeling, all the shit you're going through. Maybe take a note, whatever. But go back 30 days later and see if that problem mattered just as much as it did then. Because I can guarantee you it doesn't. And that's what he shared with me. And I've done that time and time and time again. And when I go through some shit, or if I'm going through some challenges, whatever the case is, when I look back 30 days later, I don't even care about it anymore. It doesn't even matter. It's not even relevant. So on this Momentum Friday, as we wrap up here, the one thing I want to share is you are not in charge of the circumstances that happen to you. You can't control all of that. But what you do have charge over is how you act and what you think in those circumstances that are not favorable to your business, to your life. The list goes on. So at the end of the day, if you take that perception and those actions in the situations that are not favorable to you and that sometimes really, quite frankly, suck, you're going to be a better entrepreneur, better leader, could be a better husband, better wife, whatever. The list goes on. But learn from those mistakes and just understand one thing, that life does not happen to you. Life happens for you. And in retrospect, it always makes it a lot easier to understand that. Steve Jobs had a great saying, and he said, you can never connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And everything ultimately will make sense at a later date. So again, guys, happy Friday. I hope this message helps somebody out there. Momentum Fridays are something we're going to keep going. Create a great weekend, guys. And we'll talk to you soon.